So continuing with the class we were talking about right now, the number of kids born per month in a goat farm were as follows: 12, 8, 22, 14, 10, 15, 6, 9, 4. Are these births significantly different to each other in 10 months period? So how do we intend to solve it? 12, 8, 22, 14, 10, 15, 6, 9 and 4. It means we have to see whether there is significant difference with respect to the birth. Ideally, what should have been the birth? If I say that there is no effect of month, they all should have been equal. Birth of kids per month in the farm. Similarly, suppose you get a question, compare the number of accidents per month to see whether there is any effect of the accident at a given place or not. Ideally, what should have been? Ideally, the number of accidents per month should be almost same, identical it means. So we have to see, you can see that they are different. Fine, it's 12, it's 8, it's 20, it's 2, it's 14, 10, 15, 6, 9 and 4. Then what you do? You compare its the measure of dispersion. Next one, third, what you can go for after having the average value, or here we have the data, and then how do you compare it? You compare it. The third is hypothesis testing, that is to see whether the difference between the 12 and 8, 8 and 20, 20 and 2 is significant or not. आप जानते हैं कि 12 8 से बड़ा है, 8 20 से छोटा है, 20 2 से बड़ा है, एंड सो ऑन. आप देख रहे हैं कि दसों वैल्यू जो इक्वल नहीं है, लेकिन ये जो इक्वल या अनइक्वल है वो सिग्निफिकेंटली डिफरेंट है कि नहीं है, ये देखने के लिए हम लोगों को हाइपोथेसिस टेस्टिंग लगानी होती है. इसमें हम लोग लगाएंगे काई स्क्वायर टेस्ट, जहां हम लोग को ऑब्जर्व्ड और एक्सपेक्टेड को कंपेयर करना है. काई स्क्वायर टेस्ट ऑफ गुडनेस ऑफ फिट. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे, इसको मैंने क्या किया, 12, 8, 20, इसको मैंने एक्सेल पे ऑलरेडी नोट किया. आई ऑलरेडी नोटेड दिस डेटा for the number of kids born per month for the 10 consecutive months observed. Now what will be the expected value? We add it to get 100. If 100 is the total number of birth in 10 months, what will be the expected value? If the condition was ideal, there was no effect of month, it would be 10 each month, right? So observed minus expected is O minus E minus 2. In this case, how do you calculate it? If suppose I go to do it here and I want to show it to you, what you do, give equal to sign, equal to, you have to find O minus E. Why do you need it? Because you know the formula of chi-square is summation OI minus EI whole square upon EI. You have just seen it from this. You saw it just now that the formula of chi-square is O1 upon E1, that is summation OI minus EI whole square upon EI. So what you do, you need to have this value, and then you need to have sum to get it. It's sum to get it, summation OI minus EI whole square upon summation upon EI. So what you need to have, these three terms. For calculating O minus E, what is the first value of O under O? D3, and first value under E, it is E3, equal to D3 minus E3. It is a simple subtraction we do on any Excel. Give the bracket down. You drag it down and then you will get the values minus 2, 10 and so on. Now coming to this place, O minus E whole square, it means you want to square this column. It means you have to multiply this column twice. It means take the first value of it is F3 equal to, you see, equal to what you do. I have already done it, will show it to you. F3 into sign of Excel, again F3, enter. 2 into 2 is 4. Just to simplify it, you can also do it manually, 36. This is how you can calculate chi-square in Excel. Now coming to O minus E whole square upon E. It means you have to divide column G by column E, equal to column G upon column E. So you do G3 upon E3, enter. You drag it down to get all the values. Now when you come here, you have to get the sum. What you do? Equal to sum. For getting the sum, it's simply the process of adding all the terms on Excel. 26.6. I've already calculated it also. 26.6. This 26.6 is the calculated chi-square value which you have obtained by using chi-square test of goodness of fit, whose formula was summation OI minus EI whole square upon EI. You obtained summation OI minus EI whole square upon EI on Excel just now for the question. And what you got, you calculated values. It was 26.6 for this question, calculated chi-square. Now what do you want? You want to have tabulated chi-squares. For that, what you do, you have to download this table of chi-square test table. You can get this chi-square test table either behind any book of statistics, standard book, or on net also. You just type tabulated chi-square values. Now in this case, as you see, we have the data of 10 months. So the degree of freedom is 10 minus 1, n minus 1, that is 9. You have already written over here, in case of chi-square test, the degree of freedom, chi-square test of goodness of fit, the degree of freedom is n minus 1. So degree of freedom 9. This is how you look for the tabulated chi-square value. You have already calculated the calculated chi-square 9. The level of significance, you already know there are two levels of significance. Taking it at 95%, it means 0.95. That is, if 0.95 is the, this 95% accuracy means 0.05 is the level of significance. At that, drawing a particular perpendicular from 0.05 and then again oblique from 9, you match it over here to get 16.919. This is the tabulated value of chi-square. So the chi-square calculated is 26.6 and chi-square tabulated is 16.919. As you can see, calculated chi-square is greater than chi-square tabulated. Then what you do, just now I had talked about two hypotheses, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. For our experiment, what was the null hypothesis? If I said that it should have been taken in the beginning, it means here when I intended to solve it, total number of itna where itna null hypothesis. Null hypothesis means birth of kids in each month are equal. What is the alternate hypothesis? Equal. What is the alternate hypothesis? In this case, birth of kids in different months are unequal. That is, the month have significant effect on the birth of kid. H0 and H1 unequal. It means that you have to see whether the effect of birth of kids is significant or not. So what you do? In this case, because chi-square calculated is greater than chi-square tabulated, this is in general applicable for all the hypothesis testing, as chi-square calculated is greater than chi-square tabulated. I had also discussed in the beginning, chi-square is also represented by this symbol. First of all, let me light it. Null hypothesis is rejected. Always remember, if chi-square calculated will be greater than chi-square tabulated, we will reject null hypothesis. Or if chi-square calculated is less than tabulated, we will accept null hypothesis. As null hypothesis rejected, it means H0 is rejected. So what is accepted? H1 is accepted. We always accept just one out of the two. And H1 is accepted means, what was the H1 in this case? H1 was that the effect birth per month for the 10 months is not equal. It means the effect of month is on number of kids born is significant. Means that what you saw in this question in the beginning, 12, 8, 22, 14, 10, 15, 6, 9, 4, which is visible that they are unequal, is proved by chi-square hypothesis testing that they are significantly unequal to each other. Means they are significantly varying with respect to month. Means you can say that month has a significant effect on the birth of kids. Means suppose you have to go for any selection strategy, or you want to have a particular number of kids born, you can decide based on the month, in which month do you want your goats to go for kidding. This is what is meant by this. Now coming to the next one, second type of chi-square test is the chi-square test for independence of attributes. Whenever you have to go for any, say for example, when do we use this chi-square test of independence of attribute? When you have to see that the two attributes are independent of each other. As the name suggests, that is, the disease occurrence is independent of vaccination, that is, the cholesterol occurrence is independent of smoking, and so on, you go for independence of attributes. So when you say that it actually helps us to study about the impact of vaccination on any disease occurrence, you can very well guess its importance in all the analysis, especially the epidemiological study as well, whereby suppose you have to see the efficacy of any inoculation or any suppose vaccination. What you will do, you will make four groups. You will make four groups like this. A, vaccinated people in which disease occurred. B, vaccinated people in which disease did not occur. C, unvaccinated lot in which disease occurred. D, unvaccinated lot in which disease did not occur. And then you apply this chi-square test for independence of attributes to see whether your vaccination is successful or not. This is one very important application of chi-square test of independence of attributes. So students of BVSC in AH, let me tell you, you will also find this chi-square test while studying about the epidemiological statistics. Other than that, suppose you have to see whether the smoking people have high risk to heart attack or not, or whether they have high cholesterol level or not, and so on. That is when you have to compare the dependence between two type of attributes, smoking and cholesterol level, smoking and heart attack, vaccination and mortality, and so vaccination and disease occurrence, and so on. You form four groups, but in which you compare it with the help of, suppose you say smoking with heart attack, smoking no heart attack, non-smoking with heart attack, non-smoking with no heart attack. So you have total of four groups. Generally in such cases where you compare two attributes, you get to have 2 into 2 contingency table, that is 2 columns and 2 rows. This number of columns and rows will vary depending upon the attributes you have to compare. This you will see just now. Now coming to the chi-square test for independence of attributes, let us suppose that the given population consisting of n items is divided into R mutually disjoint or exclusive and exhaustive classes A1, A2, A3, A4 or AR, so that the randomly selected items belong to one and only one of the attributes A1, A2, A3, A4 and AR. Similarly, let us suppose that the same population is divided into S mutually disjoint and exclusive classes. Under the hypothesis of independence of attributes, the expected frequency for any of the cell frequencies can be obtained on multiplying the row total and column total in which the frequency occurs and dividing the product by total frequency. In this case, the degree of freedom is equal to number of frequencies minus number of independent constraints on them. We will see how do we calculate degree of freedom. Suppose we go for 2 into 2 contingency table. That is when we have to compare two attributes. Under null hypothesis of independence of attributes, the value of attributes, the chi-square for 2 into 2 contingency table is given by, this is the formula or general statistics, general formula for chi-square test of independence of attribute. Now we are studying about chi-square test of independence of attribute, before which we studied about chi-square test for goodness of fit. Before that we studied about parametric and non-parametric, and before that we studied about the types of variables. Coming back to the chi-square test of independence of attributes, this is the formula where n is equal to a plus b plus c plus d. AB minus BC whole square, you obtain it from here, a into b minus AB. In this you get, see there is some, yeah, now corrected, it is AD minus BC whole square upon a plus c into b plus d into ba plus b into c plus d. So you see, when you divide your data in this form, this will be your a, that the b, c and d, and you can get all your raw material for the chi-square test of independence attribute formula like this. Now what will be the Yates correction? If any cell frequency into 2 into 2 table is less than 5, then for application of chi-square test, it has to be pooled with the preceding or succeeding frequency so that the total is greater than 5. That is, if out of A, B, C and D, any of the 4 cell frequency is less than 2, you have to apply Yates correction. In such a situation, when any cell frequency 2 into 2 is less than 5, we apply Yates correction for continuity. This consists of adding 0.5 to the cell frequency which is less than 5 and adjusting the remaining frequencies accordingly. Or you use the chi-square and test with Yates correction, or else you modify the formula like this. What you do, you either add, always remember, this is a very big confusion which took me sometimes to it took me time to finally be able to differentiate. Never apply both the things, they both are same. This adding 0.5 to the cell frequency which is less than 5 and adjusting the remaining frequencies accordingly. Don't worry, I will make you understand what it means. Or modifying the formula of chi-square test with Yates correction. So don't do both of these things. This and this step and this step are both the same. We'll tell you by both the methods. Where AD minus BC is the absolute, always remember, in this case AD minus BC is the absolute or the modulus value. It is very important. Absolute or modulus value means that you're ignoring the sign. If you don't, you will end up with the wrong result. Now Yates correction for the continuity can be applied only in case of 2 into 2 contingency table. It means when you have two attributes to be compared in case of chi-square test for independence of attribute, that is 2 into 2 contingency table of this type, then only you apply Yates correction. For higher number of attributes, even if any of the cell frequency is less than 2, you don't apply Yates correction. Now, if n is sufficiently large, the value of chi-square is not affected by Yates correction. That's why, however, if n is a small, application of Yates correction may overstate the probability. Now coming to the what does 2 into k contingency table? It means we have a total number of k attributes, that is k number of columns and 2 number of rows. So here we will have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L and so on. So total you will have just 2 rows, but you will have many columns, k number of columns. So you say such, and when will this happen? When you have to compare 2 attributes with k different attributes. So suppose I had a condition whereby I had to see smoking with heart attack, smoking with no heart attack, smoking with any other disease, non-smokers with heart attack, non-smokers with no heart attack, non-smokers with any other disease, and then you would have A, B, C, C, D, E. So in that case, you had 3 columns and 2 rows to be compared. So it would have become 2 into 3 contingency table, and so on. So in this case, what you are doing, you are comparing the disease condition of 3 types: heart attack, non-heart attack, any other disease, and smoke with smokers and non-smokers. So it is 2 into K contingency table. Now coming to chi-square, n square upon, what will be the formula? Suppose there is one. So this is, and for always remember, if you have such condition for 2 into K contingency table, remember the formula: chi-square is equal to n square upon n1 into n2. Bracket starts a1 square upon m1 plus a2 square upon m2 up till ak square upon mk minus n1 square upon capital N, where you see m1 is the sum of the 2 a1 plus b1, m2 is the sum of a2 plus b2, m3 is the sum of a3 plus b3, m4 is the sum of a4 plus b4, and so on up till mk is the sum of ak plus bk, and n1 is the sum of a1, a2, a3, a4, a5 up till ak, n2 is the sum of b1, b2, b3, b4 up till bk. Question: in an experiment on immunization of the goats from anthrax, the following results were obtained. Derived over inference on the efficacy of vaccination. Suppose we inoculated the animal with the vaccine. 2 died of anthrax, 10 survived out of total 12. The 12 animals and where another 12 animals were taken as the control, that is, they were non-inoculated, out of which also 6 died of anthrax and 6 survived. So total which died of anthrax were 2 plus 6, 8, and which survived were 16. So sum total of experiment animal was 24. In this is, as you can see, it is 2 into 2 contingency table. Died, survived is compared with inoculated, non-inoculated. 2, 10, 6, 6 are respectively A, B, C and D format, and this is A plus B, this is C plus D, this is A plus B plus C plus D, this is A plus C, this is B plus D. So you have all the raw materials for the formula of chi-square test of independence of fit for the 2 into 2 contingency table. But in this case, you see this A2 is less than 5. And you know, in that case, we will have to go for Yates correction. So suppose I apply the Yates correction over here. This is how. First of all, what I do, this is the Yates correction. How was the Yates correction applied? Going back to the slide so that you are able to correlate. This was the modified Yates correction formula. First, I had said that either use this one or use this one. So first I use by this method. N into, this is the modified formula of Yates with Yates correction. The general formula for chi-square test for goodness of fit is N into AD minus BC whole square upon A plus C, B plus D, A plus B, C plus D. But when any of the cell frequency A, B, C or D is less than 5, you have to apply this formula: N into AD minus BC minus N upon 2 whole square upon A plus B, A plus C, B plus D and C plus D. So what you do? You go for calculating it. I'll show you just now how. You have to just put all the things into this modified formula. I repeat it once again. In general, the formula for chi-square test is N into AD minus BC upon A plus B, A plus C, B plus D, C plus D. With Yates correction, it is just N into modulus of AD minus BC minus N upon 2 whole square, and it is squared. This is the modification. So what you do, you just substitute here. N is equal to 24, AD is 12. How? A into D, 2 6 12, BC, B into C, 10 6 60, minus N upon 2, 24 upon 2 whole square, upon A plus B, that is 12, A plus C, that is 12, B plus D, that is 8, C plus D, that is 16, and it is equal to, on simplification you get it's equal to 1.688 roughly. Now another method which I said, that is the Yates correction only. What you do, they both are actually, let me tell you something, mathematically this Yates corrected formula and this are actually the same. When you modify the formula by adding n by 2 factor, you are actually doing this only. Let me show you how. This is the second type, consists of adding 0.5 to the cell frequency which is less than 5 and adjusting remaining frequencies accordingly. So when you have to go for Yates correction, you can either use this or use this. Now if I use this consisting 0.5, so I am going to add 0.5 to the cell frequency which is less than 2. You see, as you can see, it is less than 5, that is 2. So I add it and make it 2.5, but I have to adjust it accordingly to keep this same. So if I make it 2.5, I take 0.5 from it, and I also take 0.5 from it, such that this and this, they both are constant, and it is sum total is constant, which I cannot alter. So what I do, it becomes 2.5 and I make it 9.5 from 10. You can see here, and then again I make it 5.5 from 6, and then in this case I make it 6.5 from 6, keeping this and this all same, that is a plus b, c plus d, a plus c, b plus d, and a plus b plus c plus d will remain unaltered. Then what I do, I don't use that formula AD minus BC upon A plus C, B plus D. I go for observed and expected. You must have remembered the formula we use for chi-square test of goodness of fit. OI minus EI summation OI minus EI whole square upon EI. We will be using it. But what will be the expected frequency in this case? The expected frequency will be 8 into, that is, this is equal to 8 into 12 upon 24, which is equal to 4. Expected frequency for 10 will be 12 into 16, that is what the expected frequency for this will be 12 into 8 upon 12, that is A plus B upon A plus C upon A plus B into A plus C upon A plus B plus C plus D. Similarly, you calculate expected frequency for 10 as you need to have, you need to have expected and observed. So if you have 4 observed frequency, what will be its expected corresponding values? They will be, expected value for 2.5 will be equal to 12 into 8 upon 24. Similarly, expected value for 9.5 will be equal to 12 into 16 upon 24. Similarly, expected value for 5.5 will be equal to 8 into 12 upon 24, and expected value for 6.5 will be equal to 16 into 12 upon 24. Now the H0 was, in this case, what was the null? I said to you that before any hypothesis testing we need to have 2 null and alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis in this case was there was no effect of vaccination. Effect of vaccination is not there on anthrax. An alternate hypothesis will be there was effect of vaccination. So in this case, we already have the chi-square tabulated value. Now we need to, how we found out the chi-square tabulated value? You see, the expected frequency are 4848 and the observed frequencies are 2.5, 9.5, 5.5 and 6.5. Then what you do? 2.5, 9.5, 5.5, 6.5, 4848. You again go for calculated O minus E. 2.5 minus 4, 9.5 minus 8, 5.5 minus 4, 6.5 minus 8. I've already shown you a few minutes before how to do this. You also know this O minus E whole square is equal to E6 into then O minus E whole square upon E. It means that F column has to be divided by D. It means F6 upon D6. F6 upon D6. This F6 upon D6. Enter. You drag it down. You have to find the sum. This is 1.6875. You see the value over here? Let me show you. 1.6875. When you calculated it by this method, you got 1.6875, almost the same. And when you calculated it by this method, you also got 1.6875. Now we have to find chi-square tabulated. In this case, the degree of freedom, always remember in such cases of contingency table, the degree of freedom is number of rows minus 1 into number of columns. That is, if it is 2 into 2 contingency table, degree of freedom will be 2 minus 1 into 2 minus 1, that is 1. So at 1 degree of freedom, at 0.05 it is 3.841. See, this is 1.68745 is the calculated, so 3.841 is the chi-square tabulated. In this case, you see chi-square calculated is less than chi-square tabulated. So what we do? In any hypothesis testing, if the calculated value is less than tabulated, we know we accept null hypothesis H0 and we reject alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis is that the number of vaccinated or inoculated people does not differ significantly from the non-inoculated people. Do not differ significantly non-inoculated people with respect to incidence of anthrax. That's why you say null hypothesis is the hypothesis of equality. It says there is no difference. And the alternate hypothesis is number of vaccinated or inoculated people So you accept null hypothesis. It means the number of vaccinated or inoculated people do not differ significantly for non-inoculated people with respect to incidence of anthrax. So is it a good result? No. With respect to the question, it is actually not a favorable result because it shows that the vaccine inoculated or non-inoculated do not differ significantly with respect to survival, which shows that the inoculation or the vaccine does not have a significant effect on the occurrence of anthrax. It means your vaccination is actually not successful. It is not actually useful in terms of hypothesis testing, in terms of the statistical analysis. Although you see, if you see the data, you say no, 6 is greater than 2, 6 is less than 10. It means the number of people who died of anthrax who were non-inoculated is greater than 2. So why not vaccination be successful? But when you test it using chi-square test, to see the significance, level of significance, you can say that at 5% level of significance, the inoculated and non-inoculated showed no significant difference with respect to the occurrence of anthrax. So you say with respect to the death of anthrax or incidence of anthrax, so you say that your vaccine is not successful on the basis of test of chi-square test of independence of attributes, which you studied just now, in which the formula was in general cases. I just revise it a bit, that just now you were studying about chi-square test of independence of attributes, for which the general formula was n into ad minus bc whole square upon a plus c into b plus d into a plus b upon c plus d in general cases, but in which the cell frequency, that is either a, b, c or d, was less than 5, you had to go for modifications or Yates correction, and the modification was by adding a term n minus n upon 2 here, minus n upon 2 and a modulus to this. Two things have been added, others remain the same. Or when you go it by using the formula observed and expected, you have to calculate the expected first in case of 2 into 2 contingency table, and then observed is already given. You calculate expected for all the values by multiplying this into this upon this. For this it will be this into this upon this. For this one it will be this into this upon this, and for this one it will be this into this upon this. So you have a set of observed and expected, and then instead of using the formula, you go for the normal O minus E as I showed you just now, and then you calculate it by summation O minus C whole square, and then what you do, you compare it with the help of tabulated values again by chi-square table. But the difference is that in this case you use the, in this case, what is the difference? The degree of freedom is different. In the case of chi-square test of independence of attributes, if you have a 2 into 2 contingency table, the degree of freedom will be 2 minus 1 into 2 minus 1, that is 1 into 1, that is 1. Suppose you have 2 into 3 contingency table, the degree of freedom will be 2 minus 1 into 3 minus 1, that is 2, and so on. And then you compare the calculated and tabulated. If chi-square calculated is greater than tabulated, you accept the null hypothesis. If chi-square calculated is less than chi-square tabulated, you reject the null hypothesis, and accordingly you give the result. Now coming to the next one, that is chi-square test. Next use or application or method of chi-square test for several proportions. Suppose we want to test the equality of several population proportion, that is P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3 is equal to Pn. From this we take independent random samples of predetermined sample size, say n1, n2 and up till n3 from these population respectively, and record their response into one of the two categories, that is dichotomous classification, smokers and non-smokers, alcoholics and non-alcoholics, married and unmarried, and so on. They are called as dichotomous. This will give us in the form of 2 into n contingency table, in which one classification refers to population, other to the response under study. The test statistics for testing the equality of several population proportion is H0 is to P1 equal to P2 equal to P3 up to Pn. Square for is the chi-square test for testing the independent of two variables for 2 into 1 contingency table, summation Oi minus Ci whole square upon E at 2 minus 1 into n minus 1 degree of freedom. So as you can see, the degree of freedom is same as the chi-square test of independence of attributes. Let us see an example, it become more clear. We have A, B, C and D. That is 4 group of people, high density HDL with high density HDL, non-high density HDL. This is the total number of people. You have to compare the 4 group of people for the high density HDL or non-high density HDL population proportions, whether they are significantly different or not. You again, what you do, you have here in this you have 4 into 2 contingency table, 4 columns, 2 rows. How you find the expected for this? This is equal to 258 into 120 upon 600. Expected for this value will be equal to 215 into 258 into 200 upon 600. Expected for this value will be equal to 258 into 150 upon 600. Expected for this value will be equal to 342 upon 120 upon 600. Expected for this value will be equal to 342 upon 200 upon 600. This will be 342 into 150 upon 600, and for this expected will be 342 into 130 upon 600. So then you will have a set of 8 observed values and 8 expected values. This is how you obtain the expected values for 53, for 80 and so on, as I showed to you just now. I have just what I have done, I have made the table in which I have written the expected value below the observed. This was what you got and this was what you found out, and then this was what you converted the table into with both observed and expected, observed, expected and so on. Then you apply the test statistics, summation O minus C. Here summation sign is missing, so summation, hope to get it, the symbol over here, yes, insert, close. Summation O minus C whole square upon E, which is equal to what? 53 minus 51 upon 6, you see, 53 minus 51 upon 6 minus 51.6 whole square upon 51.6 plus 80 minus 86 upon 86 plus 68 minus 64.5 upon 64.5 plus 57 minus 55.9 upon 55.9 and so on. This is how you get O minus C whole square for E, you know. So you will have a total of 8 O minus C whole square upon E. O minus E whole square upon E. Again O minus C whole square upon E. Again O3 minus E3 whole square upon E3. O4 minus E4 whole square upon E4. O5 minus E5 whole square upon E5. O6 minus E6 whole square upon E6. O7 minus E7 whole square upon E7. O8 minus E8 whole square upon E8. And then you add them all to get 1.1722. The degree of freedom here will be R minus 1, row minus 1 into column minus 1. 2 rows and 4 columns. 4 column give you 4 minus 1, 3, and 2 rows 2 minus 1, 1. 3 into 1 is 3. The critical value of chi-square for 3 degree of freedom and level of significance is 0.025 is 9.348. So as chi-square calculated is less than chi-square tabulated, it is non-significant, so H naught is accepted. Suppose we have to compare a specific variance with the population variance. This is the fourth type of chi-square test. If sigma square, in this case, suppose we have to compare two type of population variances. Sigma square is equal to sigma naught square if x1, x2, x3 up to xn is a random sample of size n from a given population. Then under null hypothesis H naught, the statistics, chi-square is equal to summation xi minus x bar square upon sigma naught square follows chi-square distribution with n minus 1 degree of freedom, where s square is 1 upon n summation xi minus x whole square denotes the sample variance. So this is the fourth type or method or application of chi-square. First one was chi-square test of goodness of fit. So suppose I throw you one question. Which test are we going to compare when we have to see whether a particular population, the ratio of male and female is in consonance with the normal 1:1 ratio is not or not? I will say it is chi-square test of goodness of fit. It means it is fitting into the ratio or not. I again ask you, which test will we follow if we have to compare whether the particular Mendelian monohybrid ratio of 1:2:1 is being followed or not in any cross? I again say we will go for chi-square test of goodness of fit. If suppose I say which test will we follow if we have to see whether the vaccinated and unvaccinated lot differ with respect to a particular incidence of a particular disease or mortality, then I will say we will go for chi-square test of independence of attribute. Which test will we follow if we have to see whether the smoking has a significant difference on the cholesterol level or mortality or morbidity or any disease occurrence? Then I will say we will go for chi-square test for independence of attribute, because we have to compare whether the two attributes are dependent on each other or not. Then the third type we just now studied was the chi-square test for population proportions, whereby we have to compare the proportions. In either of the three applications, as you could see in all the chi-square test, what we have the frequency or the number of people. We don't have a mean value of the trait or data or the attribute. We have the number of people. So first of all, when you see that you don't have a continuous data, you go for chi-square test because it is a non-parametric test. And then, so suppose we have to see whether the effect of ultrasonography was significant or not on prenatal or postnatal diagnosis of disease. In this case, what you will do? You will take a particular lot of female pregnant, and then you will go for to see whether prenatal diagnostic tools like ultrasonography had a significant effect on disease diagnosis or not, then prenatal disease diagnosis or not. So you will count again the number of female in which it had reduced prenatal, in which it was able to better monitor, in which that is in that case also you will take the frequency or the number of female. It won't be a continuous data, it will be a discrete data. It will be the frequency, the number of female. So in such cases you go for chi-square. The last application of chi-square is to test whether the specific variance with population variance, the difference is significant or not. That is sigma square is equal to sigma naught square. So we take a question. A random sample of size 20 from the normal population gives the sample standard deviation 6. Test the hypothesis that the population standard deviation is 9. Now, population standard deviation in this case question is 9. For this we will be using the fourth one, because here we have to compare the population variance with standard deviation is the root of variance. So when you have to compare the standard deviation, you have to compare the variance. It means you have to see whether the sample standard deviation and the population standard deviation are significantly different or not. What will be the null hypothesis? Null hypothesis, we will have that under null hypothesis we will take random sample of size 20. It means capital N is equal to 20. Normal population gives the sample, it means it is following normal probability distribution. Sample standard deviation is 6, so variance is 36. Hypothesis that a population standard deviation is 9, that is variance is 81. So you have to see whether the sample variance of 36 and the population variance of 81 are significantly different to each other or not. The null hypothesis or the hypothesis equality will be that sigma square of sample is equal to sigma square of population. Alternate hypothesis will be that sigma square of sample is not equal to sigma square of population. How will you solve it? In this case, by using the statistical formula of chi-square, which you have seen over here, summation xi minus x bar whole square upon sigma naught square, where s square is equal to 1 by n summation xi minus x bar, you will just substitute it at 20 into 36 upon 9 into n, that is n into s square upon sigma square. N into s square upon sigma square. This 36 is the sample variance. This 81 is the population variance. It is the n. So straight away n into sample variance upon population variance is equal to 81. 9 9 cha 81 and this is 36. So on solving you get 36 and 81 छछा है 36. 9 चौक 36. 20 चौक 80. 80 upon 20 चौक 80. 80 upon 9. So there is some mistake. So it is level of significance is, it is 80 upon 9. It is equal to, which is actually equivalent to 8 point, almost equal to 9. You can say it is equal to 8 point, not a 8, 8, 8. At degree of freedom, 20 minus 1, that is 19. Tabulated, now we have to go for tabulated chi-square. Why it is written x square, although it is not exactly. The symbol for chi-square is this. For all the methods of chi-square, you can use this symbol chi-square in short. I have not used it at many places. Rarely have I used it because I couldn't find one. That's why. How to put the chi-square. Tabulated chi-square at 0.05 level of significance at 19 degree of freedom. N was 20, so degree of freedom is 19. So how do you calculate in this fourth method? The method for calculation of chi-square test for population proportion with sample proportion, which is the last method, is actually equal to n into s square upon is actually equal to n into s square upon sigma square, and then you compare it with tabulated. Tabulated is 30.44144. Let's at 9, so we have to see it at 19 degree of freedom. You will again consult the chi-square table. We have already dealt with 2 times. You compare it to see, and because calculated is less than tabulated, it is not significance. Hence, the null hypothesis that the population standard deviation is 9 may be accepted at 5% level of significance. Now, so in the next lectures, we will be discussing about the chi-square, t-test, z-test and other tests of hypothesis testing. Before that, I hope it is clear to you, and I take the leave from you all with the hope that the lecture was clear to you.